Have you ever met someone who acted like they were morally superior every single day? The kind of people who never directly insult you, but somehow make you feel judged every time you breathe? Well, that's exactly what happened to me. By the end of our university group project, they were begging me for one thing: a simple brownie recipe. They still haven't gotten it, and years later, they're still asking. If you've ever dealt with smug coworkers, annoying classmates, or people who constantly acted like they were better than everyone else, you're going to love today's story. Hit that like button, subscribe for more Reddit revenge stories, and let me know in the comments, was keeping the recipe forever petty or absolutely deserved? Now, let's get into it. This happened a few years ago during university. I was assigned to a semester-long group project with two classmates I'd barely spoken to before. At first, I figured we'd divide the work, cooperate like adults, and move on with our lives. Unfortunately, that wasn't the group I'd been assigned. From the very first meeting, something felt off. They weren't rude, not openly. Instead, they had this quiet confidence that somehow managed to feel incredibly condescending. The kind of confidence where every sentence sounded like they were trying to teach you how to be a better person. Both of them were extremely passionate about sustainability, vegetarianism, environmental activism, none of which bothered me. People can live however they want. The problem wasn't what they believed. The problem was that they couldn't stop reminding everyone that they believed it. Every conversation somehow became a lesson. I'd show up with lunch, one of them would glance at my sandwich. Oh, I could never eat ham. Not, I'm vegetarian. Instead, I could never do that, as if I should suddenly feel guilty for eating lunch. Another time, I'd arrive by car because I lived much farther away. Immediately, you know, you really should have cycled. No smile, no joke, just another reminder that apparently I was personally destroying the planet. Little comments every single day. None of them were huge, but together they became exhausting. Imagine getting tiny reminders every day that someone thinks they're morally superior to you. Eventually, I stopped arguing. I'd just nod, smile politely, and get back to work. Because unlike them, I actually wanted to finish the project. The assignment itself wasn't difficult. Researching, writing, presenting our findings, pretty straightforward. But then, someone suggested something ridiculous. We should visit several organic farms. Apparently, interviewing local farmers about sustainable agriculture would give the project authenticity. In theory, interesting. In reality, a terrible idea. It meant traveling across multiple locations, scheduling interviews, spending almost 3 entire days during the busiest week before submission. I looked at the timeline. We were already behind. Those 3 days could make or break the project. So I politely said, I think that's unnecessary. I'd rather spend that time actually finishing the report. To their credit, they didn't argue. They simply smiled, said they understood, and went anyway for 3 full days, leaving me with everything else. While they were driving around visiting farms, guess who was sitting in front of a laptop for 12 hours a day? Me, researching, writing, editing, fact-checking, formatting references, fixing grammar, building graphs, double-checking citations. Every evening, I'd receive another cheerful message. We had such an inspiring conversation today. Meanwhile, I hadn't left my desk in 10 hours. The irony wasn't lost on me. They were collecting stories. I was actually finishing the project. When they finally returned, they had pages of interview notes. Interesting? Sure. Useful? Barely. After reviewing everything, almost all their material became one tiny section. A footnote. Less than 2 pages in a report that exceeded 50. 3 days reduced to a paragraph. Meanwhile, almost every major chapter had my fingerprints all over it. Did I complain? No.
The deadline was close, I just wanted it finished. But somewhere deep inside, something snapped. Once the project was submitted, someone suggested celebrating with a potluck. Everyone would bring homemade food. It sounded fun. And that's when the idea hit me. Not a cruel revenge, not something that would hurt anyone, just something wonderfully petty. See, I have a brownie recipe, not just a good recipe, an incredible one. The kind that's impossibly fudgy, rich, moist, chocolate so intense it practically melts before you even chew. Friends had begged me for it before. Family requested it every holiday. It was my signature dessert. And suddenly, I knew exactly what I was bringing. The night before the potluck, my kitchen smelled unbelievable. Butter sizzling, dark chocolate melting into glossy perfection, vanilla filling the room. The batter itself tasted incredible. When they finally came out of the oven, the tops had that beautiful paper-thin crackle. The centers stayed perfectly soft. I looked at them cooling on the counter and smiled. Tomorrow would be interesting. The potluck started normally. People placed food everywhere: salads, pasta, cookies, casseroles. Then I quietly set down my tray of brownies. Within minutes, someone took one, then another. Then another person asked, "Who made these?" I did. Oh my God! 5 minutes later, half the tray was gone. People kept coming back. I need another. I wasn't planning on dessert, but these are insane. I've literally never had brownies like this. Even my 2 teammates, the same people who'd spent weeks quietly judging every decision I made, couldn't stop eating them. One looked at me with genuine excitement. "These are the best brownies I've ever had." Another immediately asked, "Can you please send me the recipe?" Then someone else joined in. "No, seriously, I need this recipe." Suddenly, everyone wanted it. Phones came out, people were ready to write notes. I smiled. "Sure, I'll send it later." Simple, friendly, completely believable. Days passed. One message appeared. "Hey, don't forget the brownie recipe." "Oh, sorry, I forgot. I'll send it tonight." I didn't. A week later, another reminder. "Haha, where's that recipe?" "My bad, I've been busy." Still nothing. Then exams came. Graduation. Everyone moved on. Except the recipe. Every few months, someone from that project would randomly message me. "Do you still have that brownie recipe? I've been craving those brownies. My girlfriend wants to try making them. I was just thinking about them today." Every single time, I either ignored the message or politely said I'd send it later, which, of course, I never did. Here's the funny part. We all got excellent grades. The project ended successfully. Nobody was harmed, nobody's reputation was ruined, nobody got embarrassed. But those brownies became legendary. And years later, they still haven't figured out how to recreate them. Maybe they've tried dozens of recipes. Maybe they've searched every cooking website imaginable. Maybe they've convinced themselves they finally found the right one, only to realize it's still not the same. And every time that happens, I imagine them remembering mine, the brownies they'll probably never taste again. Was it childish? Absolutely. Did it solve world hunger? No. Did it change their personalities? Probably not. But after weeks of subtle judgment, after carrying the workload while they enjoyed educational road trips, after constantly feeling like I was being looked down on, keeping one little recipe felt perfect. Sometimes revenge doesn't need explosions. Sometimes it doesn't need lawsuits. Sometimes the sweetest revenge is simply refusing to share something people desperately want. And honestly, every time another message pops up asking, "Hey, any chance you still have that brownie recipe?" I smile, close the notification, and carry on with my day. Petty revenge doesn't always mean hurting someone. Sometimes it's just protecting something special from people who never truly appreciated you until they wanted something from you. And maybe that's satisfying enough. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more incredible Reddit revenge stories, and tell me in the comments, was keeping the recipe forever petty or absolutely deserved? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next revenge story.